Hello. Hey, Julie. Hi, Alicia. How are you guys? Sorry about the stacks of things in the bag. Oh, I know. Aren't those good stories? They're pretty good. How are you guys doing? I feel like I've got a little bit of sun outside today. Starting to work in my beds. I've got 2 down, 5 to go. Oh goodness, 2 of them are small, which is good, but so I got 3 big ones left. But hey, Kiri, hello, welcome. Happy Memorial Day to everybody, and hope you're enjoying your day. Hope you've taken a moment to remember our fallen soldiers too, and yeah, hope all is well. Yes, it's a huge job. I just posted on the one that I did. I put it on Instagram so you guys can see the pictures. But so what I have to do is shovel the dirt away from the edges of the beds, and then disassemble the corner braces, and then disassemble the top layer of wood that's rotted, and then throw those away. And then I have to put like tarps or plastic or something up against the bed that I'm replacing. And as I take off each side of the lower level, I have to shovel away, probably I'm doing about maybe 3 inches of dirt, somewhere around there, 3 to 4 inches of the edge of the beds all the way down to the ground. So I have to dig that away, put that on the tarps or the plastic, and clear that space, make it nice and level, make sure there's no wood chips in there, all that kind of stuff. And then so do that on 3 of the sides, and then the one long back side, I don't have to dig away from there, but that's the last board I take off, and then clear that little trench where the bed has to rest, and then make sure everything is set, and then bring the new bed in there and tilt it in there and drop it in, and then make sure it's all level. And then I can start taking the dirt that are sitting on the tarps and the plastic and fill it back into the bed. And then I still have to add more compost and different things like that. So it's a huge thing. Chad, hello. Virginia, hi. So you had to fix the only hole in the fence, cupcake funds. Oh, no. Well, at least you couldn't escape. But I know you get stuck. So 9 to 5 to life. How are you doing, Chad, up there in the North Woods? We've had some nice cool weather. It's not lasting though. It's gonna be hot by the end of the week. So yeah, my birthday's on Friday and it's supposed to be like 91 or something like that. And I'm like, too hot too early. I mean, we've already had a 91 day, but it's like, I like it in the 70s. That's like my ideal summer weather. So, did anybody do anything special today for Memorial Day? I was just home working on the garden. I spent Saturday and Sunday caring for my dad, so I was gone. So kind of a not a party weekend, but a non-business working weekend, which is good too. Oh my goodness, water is so good. Virginia, how have you been over there in the east, on the East Coast? Oh, Julie, that sounds so wonderful. You make me want to get a pool. I've got room in the backyard. It just, oh my goodness, that would be so wonderful. I would have to like build this huge like barrier around it so I'd have privacy because everybody drives by and watches and looks. At least you've got a little bit of privacy there. You're downstate for graduation. Okay. You have two different people offer to help you fix your broken window. Oh, Carrie, hopefully you can get that in there soon because I know it's hot down there. Is it just the window pane that's broken? I mean, can you put like a board in there or anything like that? You're in the 60s and 70s. Oh, that's nice. It's probably the weather that we've had the last few days, which has been nice and cool. In fact, was it Thursday or Friday? We were under a frost warning because it got down to 33. And ooh, there you go. That's a good idea, Julie. Double duty. Warm and muggy down there. Oh. So, yeah, what was I saying? Oh, yeah, we had some nice cool weather, frost. We didn't have a frost quite. I mean, it was just on the verge, but we were under a warning. 33 degrees. That's pretty cool. So, sorry, I had a hair in my eye or something before. Something was in my eye other than my finger. So you had frost warnings last week. Yep. And yeah, so we're going to be hot for the next week or so. Your daughter and you had a barbecue yesterday? Nice. Oh, no, that's a good idea. Have all the fun and celebration and cooking and everything on Sunday and then rest today. That sounds good. The window pane was broken. You can't put the AC until it's fixed. I was just wondering if you're able to even just nail a board in there or something and still be able to put the window unit in, to cover that spot. Just wondering. I don't know what your window looks like, but I've got double hung windows here, and I could probably do something like that too. If I, if one was broken, I just at least put a board in there and get the AC in. When it comes to hot and muggy, I'll do anything to get an AC unit in. It's like, I will do anything to get it in. I got my one upstairs in last week. Yeah, I think it was last week or a week and a half ago. It was really hot here. And then of course it turned cool. So, but this week I'm going to need to put the one in downstairs too. So I can, because the 90 degrees, my little one upstairs is just not going to cool the house enough. So I do need to have two going when it hits those temperatures. The space is too big. Oh, okay. All right. Well, I hope that you can get that done soon, Carrie. That would be great. Matt and Sarah, hello. No worries. I didn't know if you'd be home in time or not, or if you'd be home here yet. So, everybody, you guys, Matt and Sarah stopped by on Friday, and we had to visit. We had our own little meetup. It was so fun. It was so great, and I just appreciate you guys so much in coming by and spending that time. It was so fun. I really, really appreciated it. I was probably, I know I was tired, so I don't know if I was gracious enough or not, enough of a hostess or anything like that. I was just kind of like, okay, hi. But I just really, really enjoyed it. So I think you guys are probably about 3 hours away. I think it depends on how you drive. What, 2.5 to 3 hours, I think. So, but I hope you had a good time. I hope you guys had a good time. So, hi to all the kids. Hugs to everybody. Yeah, it was really fun. It was sweet. 2.5 hours? Okay. Yeah, it was great. It was so fun. It was good. So I got one bed done. So I got that done today. So I didn't have any time after I got home yesterday. And but anyway, got that one done today, and a bunch of other things, little things I have to do to prepare for that. So it should start going a little bit more quickly, I think, now that I'm kind of getting the system down. But got my one bed replaced. So we've got 8 people in here. Everybody's out barbecuing and visiting, either that or on the road, probably. Oh, goodness sakes. I am going to put these links up. So every once in a while, there's actually 2 different GoFundMes going on. One is Freedom Homestead. As you guys know, their basement caved in due to heavy storms, and the insurance is not covering it. And so they are in the process of trying to rebuild their whole foundation, everything. So let's see if I have enough here. So anyway, if the other thing is that if you can't, so once in a while, mods, if you put these links going here. The other one, I don't know if anybody watched Gemini Homesteads with Miss Lippy. Yeah, I think this is good here. Said that Never Enough Time, who is on our, there we go, who shows up on our lives a lot. Their son, Frankie, was in a really bad accident, and they had to remove about 1/3 of his skull because it was swelling. His brain was swelling so much and all that kind of stuff. So I know, Julie, right? Hey, Morris Patch, hello. Good evening to you. So anyway, that second one is for Never Enough Time. And I'll try to put the links in the description later on. But anyway, if you guys want to every once in a while go back and grab those, that would be great. Chad, I don't know if you're still around or not, but thanks for popping in and saying hi. So, but the other thing, Matt and Sarah brought me peppers. Oh, so wonderful. I have green stuff actually in my garden. Oh, other than my strawberries growing and weeds. Oh, that's so fun. So great. You guys are just like, just fantastic. So okay. We're going to do a lot of stories here today, but yes, Julie, absolutely. I just want to start out with, because it is Memorial Day, and for Memorial Day, we honor our fallen soldiers. So if anybody has loved ones that gave their life in this service, I just thank you so much, and keep them in our prayers, and I really, really appreciate their sacrifice and the sacrifice of the families that gave up their loved one for our freedoms. So, yes, I do. I have chamomile and comfrey too. Absolutely. So I do have some things growing. But it was great. We spent like the whole time in the garden. The kids just played and it was great. It was really a nice time. But I just wanted to read kind of something that President Lincoln said in, some was at Gettysburg and then some was in his second inaugural address. And it's not very long, but just kind of try to put these words into our country today and in our different things today. And I just think just this little clip just to honor Memorial Day and to do that. So it's speaking after the Union had won a decisive battle. President Lincoln begins his address by saying, 77 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Now we are engaged in a great civil war, testing whether that nation or any nation so conceived and so dedicated can long endure. So this Memorial Day, this is the article's kind of editorial type thing. So this Memorial Day, we are thankfully not fighting a civil war, but we are nonetheless engaged in a struggle for the soul of our nation. And then Lincoln goes on, says, it is rather for us to be here, dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that from these honored dead, we take increased devotion to that cause for which they here gave the last full measure of devotion, that we here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation under God shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth. So this Memorial Day, we need to reflect deeply on the sacrifices of those we honor. They died in devotion to the idea of America, of a free country, dedicated to the proposition of equality. So Lincoln, in his second inaugural address, said, with malice toward none, charity for all, with firmness in the right as God gives us to see the right, let us strive on to finish the work we are in to bind up the nation's wounds. So that has to be just as much of a dedication is to try to heal the wounds of the nation too. So but I just thought those words were just so apropos, so just they're so powerful and so timeless. Because we continue to kind of do things, over there. So Morris Patch of Heaven, I don't have seeds, I have a plant, and that's really the best way to get your own started, is to propagate it. And I'm going to be cutting it up a little bit, separating it out. And so there are a few other people that want some comfrey. So do you need some? I will get you a root of it if you need that, to be able to do that. Man, sorry, you didn't have comfrey? I thought you did. I'm so sorry. I will mail some to you if you want it. So, okay. If you could email me, Northstar Prepsteader at gmail.com. There you go. Email me if you want some, and give me your name and address so I can send you a All you really need is a little piece of a root, and you just stick it in the ground, water it, and it'll grow. There's not much that can kill comfrey. Even a stem of a leaf will start a whole new plant. So it will keep going. Okay, wonderful. Yeah, doubles every year. I have, it's like every 2 years, probably, at least, sometimes every year. I have to just keep trimming it back, because even if it might start out with a grouping like this, by the end of the year, like Julie said, it's doubled. Oh, that's true. That's true. It might have died by the time you got home. But if you want some, I'll send some to you. If you would like, I would be happy to. And I saw, you guys, I saw Mac and Patty's video of their unboxing. That is hilarious. Hilarious. Oh my goodness. Can't wait to see Mac in that suit. That is going to be. Where did you guys find that? That is just great. You're welcome, Morse Patch. Oh, that's so great. Oh my goodness. So, all right. They were shocked. They're like, what is in this box? To Amazon. That's great. That's good. Now, some of these, I don't know if I've already told them before. You have to let me know if I've already done these Sven and Oli stories, but I've been trying to highlight the ones that I've already done. And so these weren't highlighted. So I'm hoping that I did do these before. But anyway, Oli and Lena went to a fair. Oli was fascinated by the airplanes and asked a pilot how much a ride would cost. $10 for 3 minutes, replied the pilot. That's too much, Oli said. The pilot thought for a moment and then said, I'll make you a deal. If you and your wife ride for 3 minutes without uttering a sound, the ride will be free. But if you make a sound, you'll have to pay $10. Oli and Lena agreed and went for a wild ride. After they landed, the pilot said to Oli, I want to congratulate you for not making a sound. You are a brave man. Maybe so, said Oli, but I got to tell ya, I almost screamed when my wife fell out. Oh, I think that was great. To save $10. Oh. Oli went to the doctor for a physical. After Oli was dressed, the doctor came in and said, I am sorry, Oli, but you are very sick and only have a few weeks to live. Oli went home with a heavy heart to tell Lena the news. After Oli told Lena, he sat in his easy chair, and Lena went to the kitchen. Soon Oli began to smell a heavenly aroma that came from their kitchen. Lena was making his favorite cookies. Lena must really love me, thought Oli. He went into the kitchen, started to take a cookie, but Lena slapped his hand away and said, Oli, you can't eat these. These cookies are for the funeral. She was getting them already. She was prepping. That's like a really sideways aspect of prepping. I know. Oh, Lena decided that she and Oli needed a bit of culture, so she purchased tickets to the ballet. That evening, after watching the performance for about 30 minutes, Oli leaned over to Lena and whispered in her ear, I don't see why they dance on their toes. Why don't they just get taller dancers? Oh. So, Lydia, if you start dancing a ballerina on your toes, just think that you just have to be taller or something. I don't know. um, so Julie, I don't know if Grace is watching or not, but hello to her. Oh, all right, Kiri, but thanks for being here. Appreciate that so much. They dance their toes. I don't see why they dance on their toes. Just get taller dancers. It kind of makes sense, you know. It's like if you don't know anything about ballet, it's like, why are they doing it? I mean, seriously, truly, it's like when you stop to think about it, it's like ballet. It's like, why do they dance on their toes? I don't know. I mean, it's just like because it's really bad for your feet. It's like, oh, hello, Chrissy does gardening and stuff. Welcome. Thanks for being here. Oli and Lena went to the Olympics. While sitting on a bench, a lady turned to Oli and said, Are you a pole vaulter? Oli said, No, I'm Finnish, and my name isn't Walter. I know. Ooh. Torture dance. Yes, absolutely. Oh, goodness sake. It's like you have to have the right shaped foot and toes in order to really be able to do it. So it's not just a matter of, um, ability and, athleticism and, your body and all the kind of stuff and your desire, your will. It's like if the toes aren't there, if your foot isn't the right shape or strength, I was like, oh. Oh, that's so cool. Thanks so much. Is that Matt or Sarah? I'm so glad that you could share them. If you need me to send my doc, I can send that to you too. Your grandmother spoke Finnish? Cool. Sarah. Okay. That's so sweet. You would probably find that fun. Oh. Lena greeted Oli at the door of their apartment when he came home from work. Guess what? Said Lena. Remember, we have been talking about getting a more expensive apartment. Yeah, said Oli. What about it? Well, said Lena, now we don't have to look. The landlord just raised the rent. Oh, I guess that's one way to look at it, right? It's more expensive too. Oh, I figured we kind of needed a couple weeks from break from the herbs. I mean, they're good and everything, and it's all wonderful, but it's like, okay, we did Have You Ever last week and the stories, and it's, Memorial Day, so we'll just do stories. Hey, Gil, hello. Grass and weeds are running wild. Yes. And it's hard to catch them sometimes, too. So my garden tip for tonight is when it's hot and dry, which we've been drier than normal this spring, and I think we have maybe one chance of rain in the next 10 days, and with the heat and stuff. So, but when it's really hot and dry like this, water deeply, um, like 15 or 20 minutes in one spot, or for like each plant or something. Water really, really deeply, so that it's nice and wet, like 1 to 2 feet down. Don't just go down and it's like, okay, we've watered the top 2 to 3 inches or something, because that's not getting to the roots. You need to water really deeply, get those roots going so they can reach down and get all that watering done. And then don't forget to fertilize, because, so you're maybe in a rainy type of area, but also watering frequently tends to leach nutrients from the soil. So don't forget to fertilize frequently enough. Use the whatever you're using. If it's fish fertilizer, you could probably fertilize every week or every 2 weeks, depending on what you're using. So just kind of look at the package or whatever you're using there to see how it is. So they've already called severe drought for this year. Oh no. Yeah, and we weren't like super dry. I mean, end of July, beginning of August, we're always dry anyway. But then we tend to bounce back. But I don't know. This is already starting out. Like our water levels are low, and even the grass is just not growing as it should. It's starting to get a little brown. I mean, it's yeah. If we don't, with the heat coming up, that's just gonna like suck everything out of the ground. Oh, thank you, Sarah. Appreciate that so much. So yeah, and so the nutrients, it's like a couple summers ago, it was like we were getting so much rain, and I was like, why are the plants looking terrible? They're getting lots of water. I put in all kinds of compost in the soil and done everything, but there was so much rain that it was just like everything was just washing through faster than the plants could actually grab it and everything. So so it is important to just watch your plants. Don't see what they need. Look at what they're doing. If the leaves aren't nice, rich green or something, then you need to, give them more nitrogen or potash or something. So it's like just kind of watch the plants, see what they're doing. If they're not fruiting, give them, all the different things that they would need then. So the irrigation district sent out a letter cutting flood irrigation times in half. Oh, so you're dry up there then too, Gil. Wow. Okay. Thank you, Morris Patch. Appreciate you being here. And don't forget to email me then too. So your grandparents spoke your ancestral tongue too, English. Keep it. Well, that's cool. You've got English ancestors. Was it an accent? I mean, did they have an accent? Did that carry through the family, or did they lose that pretty quickly? That's actually funny, Carrie. So that you remember California. Yeah. Oh, Julie, I hope that that you guys don't lose too much this year. All right. Lena passed away, and Oli called 911. The 911 operator told Oli that she would send someone out right away. Where do you live? Asked the operator. Ole replied, at the end of Eucalyptus Drive. The operator asked, can you spell that for me? There was a long pause. And finally, Ole said, how about if I drag her over to Oak Street and you can pick her up there? I know how to spell oak. I don't know how to spell eucalyptus. Ole, oh my goodness sakes. Oh, yeah, Carrie, you don't have much topsoil then at all. So do you have raised beds that you end up filling with soil? So most of the lakes and ponds on the Indian reservation are dry. Wow. Oh, Gil, that's not good. I think you had a low snow year too, for a winter, if I'm not mistaken. All right, we'll see you soon. So, okay, so we did Memorial Day. All right, Ole and Sven were trying to get a mule into the barn, but its ears were too long. Ole looked at the barn and then looked at the mule. Finally, he suggested raising the barn. Sven thought about this and said, I think it would be easier to dig a trench. No, you dummy, exploded Ole. It's the ears that are too long, not the legs. I don't know. It's like, I don't know what kind of mule that was. If the ears are too long, they couldn't get it in the barn. But that was, leave it to those two to have an issue with it. Oh, you heard Nevada and Utah are super dry too. Oh my goodness. They're already half desert there. Or at least Nevada. I had looked at, where do I have it? The NOAA climate thing. Here, I will let you guys in on something that I use a lot. Sven needs to go back to grammar school. Yes, he does, Julie. This is a link that I use a lot to check on long-term forecasts, and it gives like temperature and precipitation, and it's definitely looking like the western half is dry and hot. The eastern half is above normal precipitation, but also hot. So they're going to be hot and muggy up there. But you can go to those, and it gives like 3 months at a time, and like for the whole next year. And they're generally fairly accurate in that, you know, it's like if you're above or below normal, or, you know, it could go either way if it's just kind of the normal temps, that type of thing. So, oh wow, came over in the Mayflower, so cool. That's a great history to have. That's fun. But yeah, the NOAA, it's like when my brother does his what you call it, his fishing derby in February, we can start looking, let's say in August or something, start looking at what the possibility is for like the December, January, February forecasts and the outlooks for that. or January, February, March, that type of thing. But generally, we want to look at the December, January, and February, because if January is going to be really cold, then it can make enough ice on the lakes. If it's going to be above normal temperatures, it's going to be pretty risky. So anyway, it's pretty cool. Oh, okay, Chris. I don't know if I'm doing a Finnish, Norwegian, Swedish, Scandinavian accent that well, but it's, a lot of them kind of end up sounding the same, but I just do that. So lots of raised beds and containers. Okay. Thank you, Julie and Sarah. I really appreciate you putting those links up. Those are great. So anyway, I'm going to look to see what they're planning. December, January, February says we are going to be kind of average temperatures. They say EC. It means it can be an equal chance for being above or below. So I'm just going to say kind of normal temperatures. But it looks like we might be above normal precipitation, which means more snow. High snow year. January, February, March. Yep, colder and snow. Julie, I'm sorry, California is still above normal. You can have a warm winter, which you probably aren't sad about, but it's gonna be like a hot in Florida. Hot in Florida. Let's raise. Oh, no worry, Virginia. Thanks for being here. So, all right. Sven and Oli decide one day to enter thoroughbred horse racing, and they each go out and buy a horse. Unfortunately, they only have enough money left afterward to rent one stable. Yibbany, Sven, says Oli. With both our horses in one stable, how will we tell them apart now? Sven says, I got me an idea. He grabs a bucket of red paint and paints a big X on the side of his horse. Yeah, sure, says Oli. That'll work just fine. But when they go to reclaim their horses from the stable after the first race, the horse's sweat has washed the X completely away. And they spend hours arguing over which horse belongs to whom. Well, once they've sorted their horses out again, Sven says to Oli, well, you got any bright ideas? Yeah, sure, says Oli, and he cuts his horse's tail very short. There, now we can tell. Hi, Patty. Good evening to you. And in fact, the idea works just fine until Oli's horse's tail grew back out. And then they got their horses confused again. After a good rousing fist fight, they get everything straightened out. We need a good way to tell them darn things apart, says Oli, nursing a black eye. Yeah, sure, says Sven. But what? They sit and think for a long time. And then suddenly Oli bursts to his feet. He runs off and returns a few minutes later with a measuring tape. He measures one horse and then the other. Sven asks, will it work? Oli proudly exclaims, yeah, sure, Sven. That there black horse is 4 inches shorter than the brown one. If you guys are paying attention, you'll catch that one. I know it's a little longer story. Oh, these two are just like I know. Uh, yeah, they had the hardest time telling the horses apart. Didn't even think that the brown and the black were together. So Sven and Oli, they need their own channel. That is true. Like uh what is it? The I can't think of them right now. The old time there's two guys, the comedians in movies and stuff like that. And it was Ollie. Ollie was one. I don't know. I'm drawing a blank right now. You guys help me out. So, Dave, hello. No worries. I feel there's a lot of people. It's a holiday, so I didn't expect a whole lot of people on tonight. So that's why we're just doing Sven and Oli's stories, just having some fun. uh, so glad that you're here. Dave, I've been wanting to ask you, how is your son doing? Um, he's really been on my heart, so I just wanted to find out how he was doing. Exactly, Patty. I was like, I can see them. I can picture them totally. They do the you know, um, who's on first, what's on second, I don't know, who's on third. Those guys. Stan and Ollie? Stan and Ollie. Is it Stan? But anyway, this is Ollie. Sven and Ollie instead of Stan and Ollie. There you go. Sven. He's doing pretty well. Minor back issues remain, some sleep paralysis. You're welcome, Dave. So, going through something like that, it's a long road. Even emotionally with it, your body can heal, but just going through something like that really. Right, Sarah? Exactly. So, Sven was walking near the riverfront. Always the toughest part of town, right? The riverfront. When he spied a travel agency, he was attracted by a sign in the window announcing luxury cruises, only $69.95. $69, not $6,000. $69.95. He entered the travel agency and inquired about the luxury cruise. The travel agent asked Sven whether he had $69.95 cash. And Sven replied, "Yeah, sure." Yes, Patty, and we've been putting up some links for that too. Absolutely. Oh, hey, Glenn. 3 rough characters came from the rear of the establishment where they had been concealed, hit Sven over the head, took all his cash, stuffed him into a barrel, and dumped the barrel in the river. A bit later, Oli was attracted by the same sign in the same window. He walked inside, inquired about the luxury cruise. The travel agent asked Oli whether he had $69.95 cash, and he replied, "Yeah, sure." 3 rough characters came from the rear of the establishment where they had been concealed, hit Oli over the head, took all his cash, stuffed him into a barrel, and dumped the barrel into the river. Sven and Oli bobbed down the river in their barrels for a few minutes until they both regained consciousness. Sven spied Oli next to him and asked, "Say, do you know whether they serve dinner on this cruise?" "Nah, I don't think so," replied Oli. "They didn't serve dinner last year." Oh, yeah. David, it's so hard. It really is very difficult. All right. My prep tip is a little different tonight, um, but it kind of ties in a little bit. So, Julie, we should take that cruise. We could bob down the river. Oh, goodness sakes. I'd rather be in a canoe. Um, so here in the north, and I'm sure in the south they've already been dealing with this and everything, but here the wasps are building nests like crazy. I mean, they're finding like every underneath surface or corner or something that they can to do that. I mean, I'll go outside and in the corner of one of my garden beds, there's a nest starting to build, or they'll, just anything they're finding under a tarp. Um, you know, they're going crazy and they're just flying all over the place. I don't know why. It must be because I have like an organic garden. They just like, oh, this is a great spot. But they're they're beneficial. Oh, okay. Um, so anyway, I've just been going in and trying to just remove the nests where I can, and just kind of squash them and stuff like that. And I know that they're just like starting all over again, but um, I'll let you know if they serve dinner or not, Julie. Oh, but anyway, if you can, try to remove them. If they're building in underneath like air conditioning units, underneath tables, chairs, whatever you have outside, that kind of thing. When you get the black widows, oh, that's true. I don't know. They're very active right now. Um, but anyway, if you can remove the nests, keeping on top of them will help reduce your risk of nasty stings and all the kind of stuff going on, especially if you're allergic. Um, the other thing is we keep some bee sting salve on hand. Calendula salve is fantastic for that. Works really, really great. So if that's something you don't have on hand, work at adding that to your prep stuff. Your boxes, your stuff. Your stuff, add it to your stuff. Oh, I'm tired. You can tell I'm losing it. I can't find the words. So not for my case. Oh, okay. You're talking to Alicia. Sorry. Remove the house, probably not the yards and trees. Yeah, from around the house, especially where you're working and where you are and different things like that. And so planting is a good thing to do. But anyway, try to have that as part of your prep supplies. Something, whatever works for you and whatever you have in your on hand. But see if you can't make some this summer. Make that a goal to have that there. So I want to, first of all, before we finish up, I want to thank all my mods for all of your work and being here. And you guys are so faithful, and thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. So you have to get away from the house with the exactly, Sarah. Absolutely. I've had them actually like nest inside of my window air conditioning units before. So it's like when I pull them in for the winter, all of a sudden I'll be looking into the area where I have them stored, and I'm looking, it's like there are wasps crawling around. I mean, they're kind of like slow and drunk because 30 below outside, but it's like, oh my goodness, they're all hatching. So I have to be really, really careful. I do end up like spraying the outside of the house underneath the air conditioner unit where everything's, so that they won't build in there, and try to do that. So yes, what's in the house? Oh, you guys. Okay. Ole told Lena one morning that he was going to chop down 20 trees in the woods with his axe, and he would be done by supper time. He worked and worked all day long and could only chop down one tree. He was so tired that when he came in for supper, he went right to sleep without eating. The next morning, Ole gets up bright and early and tells Lena, I am going into town to pick me up one of those chainsaws. That their axe just don't work too good. I wonder if he had like the sleeve on it or something like that, or was using the wrong side or something. But anyway, so Ole heads off, excuse me, into town and stops at the hardware store to buy a chainsaw. He tells the hardware store owner what he wants, and the owner says, here's the chainsaw you want, and it is guaranteed to cut down 20 trees in a day. Ole gets all excited and says, that's just what I need. I'll buy it. That would be Julie. So Ole takes his new chainsaw home and gets up bright and early again the next day. He works all day and can still only cut down one more tree. He is beat red while he tells Lena, this here chain is a piece of junk. I am going to get my money back. He storms back into town the next day to return the chainsaw. He tells the hardware store owner, this here chainsaw you sold is defective. You told me I could cut down 20 trees and I could only cut down one. The store owner looks puzzled and says, oh, well, let's see if it works okay. The store owner proceeds to start up the chainsaw, and it runs perfectly normal. Broom. This is what's written here. Broom, mama, 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 broom, mama, mama. That's my chainsaw imitation. Ole jumps back in horror and yells, what's that noise? Yes, he hadn't turned it on. You got it. Patty and Dave, you know it. What's that noise? It would be kind of hard to take that and try cutting the tree with because the chain would move, I would think. Thanks, Patty. Oh, you guys. All right, I still have plenty left for next time. And you're Swedish, of course I get it. I live it. Oh, you probably have you say you live it, but you may have encountered people who are like that, huh? Yeah, I'd probably use the wrong side of the axe, so thanks, Patty. You're just so excited you know where it's going. All right, you guys. Thank you so much for spending your evening with me on this holiday, and appreciate all of your help and your work, your input and everything. You guys, thank you so much. You guys take care. God bless. Always have hope, and we will see you next week. Bye-bye.